I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Okay guys, there's been a whole bunch of stuff related to Blade Runner 2049 that has come out recently that I want to talk about. We got an initial teaser look that honestly is not all that much to go on, but I'm basically going to use it as a jumping off point to talk about the project in general because the director has also come out and said a number of things that make me interested as well. And actually, let's start with the director. I'm gonna put his name up on the screen because I will butcher it if I try and say it, but I was not familiar with his work. I knew of movies that he'd made and I'd heard good things about them, but until this year, I hadn't seen any. Then I saw Arrival. I loved Arrival, and now that has given a boost in terms of my assessment on this project. Because I mean, the original Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, and it became one of my favorite movies. I grew up on the lousy cut, the one with the voiceover. So I've since discovered that this movie that I loved is even better as I've gotten a hold of, you know, the better versions of this movie, director's cut and the final cut and so on. And normally I would have nothing but concern and contempt, but you know what? We've had some good revivals lately. Star Wars is back in a good way. Mad Max Fury Road. This stuff can work. Now Ryan Gosling as the lead, I'm torn on. I'm not sure either way because while I think he's fairly decent, I like him much better when he is lively in things like, say, The Big Short or The Nice Guys. He was amazing in that. But his sort of silent stoic thing that he does in things like Drive or The Place Beyond the Pines or whatever that thing was called, that he's not bad at it. He does it fine, but I just don't find him as engaging when he does that, and I figure that's probably what they're bringing him in to do here. But, you know, like I said, he's not a bad actor, so I'm not going, ugh! And we got a glimpse of Harrison Ford. Now, the director has said Harrison Ford is not really going to be a co-lead in this. He will be there, he will be featured, but he's not going to be featured too heavily, which in my mind, good. I think that it's the better way to do it. And the director has also said they won't definitively answer the is Deckard a replicant question, which on one hand, good. I don't think that ever should be answered definitively. On the other hand, I'm like, well, you're going to have to integrate some new information about replicants because by what we know, and the fact they're supposed to have a 4-year lifespan, the very fact that he's still alive would normally answer that question one way or the other. So they're going to have to find a way to fudge that a little bit. But in general premise, not answering that question, good, that's the way to go. It's also apparently going to be rated R, which I'm happy about. And with this director, I'm fairly confident just means that they will be free to explore and bring in the violence as is necessary. Not that it's going to be like Deadpool and just revel in its R rating. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that, but that's not what Blade Runner is. And the few glimpses we get of the city look really consistent with the Blade Runner world that we know, which is good. I think probably as long as you don't think too hard about it, because if this is basically as much time has passed in the movie world as has passed in the real world, technology's changed a lot here since the 80s, so you'd think a similar amount of time passing, things would have advanced. But at the same time, I don't want them to, because I want that same world again. So it becomes a case where potentially the aesthetic and the narrative might not totally gel. We'll see. We'll see if it's something that gets addressed or if they just hope you roll with it. And maybe if they do it well enough, I will just roll with it and it'll be fine. I think personally for me, the most comforting thing was just the little bits of music, especially at the very end of that teaser. It was Blade Runner music, because that soundtrack, nothing else sounds like that soundtrack. It is so gorgeous and so perfect and so unique, and I think nobody else really tries to make something sound like that because only Blade Runner sounds like that. Only Blade Runner looks like that. Only Blade Runner feels like that. And if they can recapture that, and I think there's a chance they can, I'm reserving a little bit of my anticipation, but between what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what I'm reading in terms of the mindset of the director, this could work. And I would really, really, really like it to. So that's sort of where I am right now with Blade Runner 2049. Have you seen this teaser? Have you been reading the interviews? What's your thoughts on all of this? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. And until next time, this council is adjourned.